I wanted to personally greet you and thank you for joining us today. But before we start, just a quick introduction as to who we are and what makes us different from every other event service provider. Manor Hill is an event production agency. Whether the event is live, virtual, or hybrid. As an agency, our mission is to deliver our clients' most important messaging opportunity through world-class, experiential event solutions by providing a singular and seamless resource to produce that event. A Manor Hill production embraces what we call our Circle One production services. We provide a full circle of professional communications and production services managed and orchestrated under one roof. From creative to technical to conference to exposition, it falls within our Circle One platform of agency services. You know, many companies boast the narrative of full service, full resource, and of course my favorite, 360. We believe that each service actually feeds into the other naturally. So it only makes sense to embrace a strategy that is comprehensive and dovetails throughout the event experience. Manor Hill's Circle One. From brand development and creative design to technical sourcing to professional talent and executive servicing, we craft, design, and bring to life your most memorable moments in time, your events. So without further ado, welcome to Mhtv, and I hope you enjoy the show.
Welcome to Manor Hill TV. And now the hosts of Mhtv, Chief Strategy Officer for Manor Hill Productions, David Hubbard, and Manor Hill's Creative Director, Sid Curtis.
Hello and welcome to Manor Hill TV. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Hubbard.
And I'm Sid Curtis. We're here to introduce you to a concept that we think is unique and will take live and streaming events to a whole new level of fun, creativity, and impact.
We have a lot to say about that, but before we really get started, let's have a look at this quick introductory video.
It is a worldwide shared experience that spans generations. It is a reflection of who we are and who we want to be. I'm talking about TV, people. For most of your life, TV has been your friend, your babysitter, your favorite household appliance. So why can't it be part of your conference work life too? Manor Hill Productions is proud to introduce Manor Hill TV, an effective and, let's face it, fun way to format your next live or streamed event. With Manor Hill TV, we'll transform your event into a professional, polished broadcast network with customized content that can be both fun and functional. It's the kind of programming that your audience chooses to watch in their free time. So why not give them that same entertainment value when they register for your event? Your business report becomes a financial show. Branch reports can be given from a high-energy sports desk. A sitcom starring your officers or volunteers can enliven an afternoon break. Turn a team-building event into a game show. Or how about a cooking show? And let's turn your annual awards into a glitzy, Hollywood-style red carpet event. Time for a commercial break? Great! That's a perfect opportunity to promote your sponsors or even sell them slots. If the desktop quad is starting to feel a little been there, done that, Manor Hill can dress up your streaming event and add a level of production value that will entertain and engage your audience. The flexibility of the Manor Hill TV format is unlimited. We can even extend the concept to support breakout and education sessions. Industry updates can become the evening news. If there's a presentation about finding sales leads, let's make it a fishing show. Another commercial opportunity would allow sponsors to support breakouts and the tried and true banner of this session brought to you by, whether recorded in studio or at your location. If it could be a show on TV, and these days what can't, we can greenlight it for your event. And when in-person events come back, let's take this concept to the live stage. We'll transform your general session into a full-blown television production, with your attendees enjoying the show as the live studio audience. Everybody wants to be a TV star. Manor Hill Productions is inviting you to make that dream a reality and turn your conference or streaming event into a television network with interviews, field reports, sound effects, graphics, professional writing, commercials, laughs, and most of all, the kind of must-watch content that will keep your audience's eyes and ears focused on your event and not on whatever else is going on in their home office. Manor Hill TV is on the air.
If that looks like fun, like a fun conference, it is.
By the way, be sure to use the chat window today to send any questions that you have, and we'll get to just as many of them as we can.
Now, here's an overview of what MHTV is and why it's a good idea.
With Manor Hill's TV concept, we basically turn your conference into a TV network. The general session, the keynote speaker, breakout reports, these all become individual TV shows with professional graphics, broadcast quality production value, and everything that you've come to expect from a live televised broadcast.
Yeah, it's a good way to bring some creativity and fun to a virtual conference. And we've found that it really can become a welcome change of pace from the virtual conferences that we've all attended.
And in addition to the benefits that you'll be hearing about in this presentation, you'll see that this is a very flexible concept that can be adapted to virtually any corporate or association event.
Yeah, true. And by the way, before we get too far along today, we want to thank everyone who's watching and sending in their questions via chat.
So, you know what? Let's go ahead, Sid, and address a few of those questions now. So, Adam D says, fun idea, but I would have a hard time selling this idea to our CEO. He's already uncomfortable on camera, so I don't think he'd like the idea of making it any worse by asking him to become a TV star.
This comes up pretty often, and the answer is that this can actually work in the favor of a company's association officers who don't do that well standing up and making a speech. With the MHTV concept, we could present the remarks in the style of a sit-down interview in a news show. You know, the host would be, one of the other officers, and they ask them questions to keep the discussion on track.
And it really does take the pressure off the CEO or the executive or whoever the presenter is that's speaking. And we found that after one or two rehearsals, the officer being interviewed is totally relaxed and comes across very well.
Yeah, that's very true. Let's see. Oh, here's a question from Carolyn. I like the idea, but I don't really see how the concept of a TV network could be adapted to my company's conference.
Okay, so Carolyn, we mentioned the flexibility as being, one of the key strengths of MHTV, and the ideas and concepts that are available to us. Really, it's a wide universe of television programming. It's unlimited. I think for more on that, why don't we go to Bill Satterwhite, who's our senior producer and writer, for a field report. Bill?
Hi. I think that one of the things that makes the Manor Hill TV concept so appealing is that it's new and familiar at the same time. It's new in the sense that if you're an attendee or a viewer of a conference, it's a new way to see your organization presented as though it's a TV show. It's familiar for the same reason, because it's TV. It's a TV show. We like TV. We're familiar with TV. We grew up with it. We live in the age of binging. We like TV. So that makes it familiar and fun and entertaining. I personally like the challenge of taking the content of a topic and trying to figure out, what kind of a TV show would this be? There's some are easy, like an award show. Every conference has the Saturday night awards dinner, so let's go all out with it. Let's do an awards show with red carpet and a professional host and orchestral music, and we could even do like a clip montage highlighting some of the events of the past year. At the beginning of this webcast, the video promo that you saw mentioned a sports desk type show or a financial program. Those are great concepts and great ways to take a topic that maybe has gotten into a rut and breathing new life into it. I personally like the ones that are a little more along the lines of entertainment, like say a sitcom parody, where a group will do just for something for fun to fill time during a break, do a sitcom parody where they cast their officers or their staff in a sitcom with a script and bad jokes and a laugh track. And sometimes people will say, well, our people can't act. Well, good. Frankly, that makes it that much better. So the one I'm still waiting on someone to let us do is a gossip type show where they could roast their staff or their officers or even the competition. So anyway, I love the idea of creating a virtual fake TV network and putting an organization on television. It's a great way to add some entertainment to a conference without obscuring the content. In fact, I think it makes the content more impactful, more entertaining, more watchable. So David and Sid, as we say in TV land, Back to you.
Thanks, Bill. We'll get to more of your questions in a bit, but right now, let's take a look at a case study from a company that used MHTV for a recent event.
Management Development Day in the past has been a 2-day event. We get our managers from all over the company. We fly them up. Made tougher this year with the restrictions on travel and gathering and all that. The refreshing thing about Manor Hill was we gave them kind of a problem and they started coming back with solutions, some different things that we could try. Have you thought of this? Have you thought of this?
So they kind of suggested for us, well, why don't we put together a pre-recorded TV program that's 3 to 4 hours long that gives us more control, gives us more planning time, and also allows us to translate and provide that in Spanish for our large Spanish-speaking employee population. So that's the direction that we decided to go in, and I think it was a much better choice for us. One
thing that really sold it for us was the team with Manor Hill, which is awesome. They were fun, they were easy. They did what they said they were going to do, which in our industry is a rarity at times. And we never had to worry about that. The professionalism and the fun, they made it really easy. We knew it was going to be great. As soon as we got the initial concept out, we started seeing the scripts and seeing the graphics that were going to be involved. The information became more entertaining. Instead of hearing a lot of numbers, there were more graphics. There were some sound effects. There's different things, different ways to package that honestly made it a better experience.
So the in-studio day, first of all, it was just impressive, the setup of it. I've worked on several videos here with other video companies, but this was a whole nother level. You know, you had the entire room set up. I felt like we were on Good Morning America. We had people all day coming over just to check it out and see.
I was worried, I was anxious. You know, it was a big day. We had all of our executives coming together. Everybody's time is really valuable, but the timeline that we had laid out was right on. We actually beat our schedule by a few hours, which enabled us to get some more footage. It ran extremely smooth, and we did this all in about a day and a half, including setup, teardown, all that stuff. So at the end of the day, it was fun. It was a new experience, and the folks that were really intimidated, and I was frankly very worried about their ability to speak in front of a camera and just be natural and feel like themselves, because that's not something we're used to. Manor Hill did a great job of just making it where everybody looked like a professional. There's production companies all over the place. We talked to a couple. Everybody just wanted us to tell them what we wanted. We didn't really know. It was just this idea. We wanted someone to help us cultivate that get us through the process. Manor Hill is the only one that did that. And I mean, I can't say enough about how easy they are to work with. But they really, really were easy for something that we had never done. It was a big project for us, and it wouldn't have been successful without the help of Manor Hill.
And that was a very successful event for us and for our customer. And one of the main reasons it went so well was Manor Hill's agency approach. You see, we don't have an overstuffed warehouse full of equipment. So the recommendations that we make are based on what equipment we need to provide to our customers for the solution. We're more about the creative and the consulting services that we bring to any project. We analyze a client's needs and provide creative solutions based on those needs. We're not an equipment company, we're a people and solution company.
Yeah, something else that I want to emphasize is what you heard the client say about us providing a translated version for the Spanish-speaking audience. That wasn't just a version with subtitles, but a complete alternate edit with a Spanish audio track dubbed in. A little extra effort on our part, but a bigger payoff for the Spanish-speaking employees and the audience.
Okay, great, Sid, thank you. Mm-hmm. We have another question. As far as using this concept at a live event, is there a limit to the audience size after which it becomes ineffective? The short answer is no, and I'm going to pass it over to Sid for a more elaborate response.
Actually, the bigger the better, because when you get into like really large venues like an arena, the people are actually watching the screen anyway. So it's only the people who are in the first, couple of rows that are actually watching the stage. So the bigger the better. The only pinch point may be when you go to a super small audience and everybody is watching the stage. But even then, that's probably going to be a hybrid event, which, means that you'll be pumping out that TV portion of it to, the audience that's watching virtually. So really, it is infinitely scalable. So there's certainly no limit in size.
Right, thanks, Sid. Okay, stay tuned. We're going to be right back after this important message.
The live event industry has changed. For how long, who knows? But some things are still the same. Your next conference might be virtual, but you still want it to be fun. Manor Hill invites you to the Clubhouse. After an afternoon of good content, give people a place to gather and connect. We'll build a series of virtual rooms, moderated by a professional host and customized for your event, where attendees can chat, play trivia, learn a new recipe, show off their pets, listen to music, and hang out with their friends. Manor Hill Productions has a history of success as a producer of live meetings. Virtual and hybrid events have not changed that. We still bring the same technical stability, professional crews, creativity, and flawless production to every event. From the opening session to the closing remarks, attendees still expect your virtual conference to be worthy of their time and attention. Let us tell you about Manor Hill's full-service approach to live events of any size. Then, at the end of your conference day, come to the Manor Hill Clubhouse, our popular add-on feature that gives your attendees a fun and creative way to wrap up the day. It's a chat room, it's a socially distanced happy hour, it's a party, and you're invited. If you've been missing the in-person experience of live events, Manor Hill can bring it back. Manor Hill Productions, keeping it real in the virtual world.
Okay, we're back. Let's get to another one of your questions. Sarah asks, what's the difference between MHTV and the Clubhouse? Well, good question. David, do you want to take that one?
Absolutely. The Clubhouse is a virtual version of a social hour that gives your attendees something fun to do at the end of a conference day. As you saw in the promo, we can set up different chat rooms that each have their own theme, like a cooking show or a trivia contest.
Yeah. But the Clubhouse is and MHTV are independent of each other. You could have one and not the other, but yeah, preferably both.
Absolutely. We'd love to have both. The next question is from Rob, and Rob says, or asks, how is MHTV like a full-on TV production in a studio with 2 cameras and a teleprompter? So good question. Actually, sometimes there are 3 cameras or more. And yes, we do use a teleprompter because even though your executives or presenters aren't actually professional TV talent, we use every trick in the book to make them look that way. We're even using a teleprompter right now.
We can see that.
Whoops.
Thanks again, everybody, for your questions. We really appreciate your interest. Here is one from Jenny Mack. I'm thinking I'd like to pitch this idea to my association, but I'm not sure they would want to do the entire conference as a TV network. Is this a scalable idea which could be used for maybe just the general session with a more traditional platform everywhere else?
Not only is that a good question, but Jenny Mack is a very fast typist. Yes, that's a good question. So I know what you mean, and really, your association may have a certain breakout session or other events that follow a long-standing format, and they need to stay that way, and we get that. And that's not a problem with MHTV. You could definitely use MHTV in some areas of your conference and leave others to be presented in a more traditional virtual conference platform. Thanks, Jenny. Okay, next question, Daniel T. Daniel says, sorry, maybe a little off topic, but what is your experience with virtual conferencing platforms and which one is the best?
Yeah, Daniel, we get this one a lot. We don't really have a favorite. Honestly, we've worked with several, and it usually comes down to the fact that an organization already has selected the one that they want to use. So we come in and work with whatever they've chosen.
Right, and it's been our experience that, if a platform's been around for really any length of time, it probably works pretty well or it wouldn't be in business. But what's crucial is whether or not the management team, Manor Hill Productions in our case, for example, has the experience and the expertise to make it work, to anticipate the potential issues and to do whatever rehearsals are necessary and work with whatever platform a client prefers.
Yeah, Manor Hill is platform agnostic, so we aren't stuck in a mindset of only being able to work with a platform we know. More often than not, the best solution is a series of platforms and plugins and not any one do-it-all platform.
That's exactly right. And when you're talking about a traditional platform, here's a case study of a conference that we just completed where the customer chose to use a virtual platform, traditional platform, in place of the MHTV concept.
AACT's annual meeting is a gathering of about 2,000 educators from across the United States that are focused on and study in the field of educator preparation, that is training future teachers, if you will. We needed to find a way in 2021 to continue to have that connection between our members. We were fortunate in 2020 to get our annual meeting in just under the gun, having had it in February and avoiding the shutdown of the pandemic, but that presented new challenges for us in 2021 to think about how we could have that sort of engagement that we've always had and do it in a way that would allow our members to connect and collaborate and produce the research and work that they normally do from their homes and from their offices. And that was the challenge of what we had to re-envision for 2021. Our annual meeting had both live and pre-recorded elements. However, we did allow for some of our general session speakers to be live. We definitely were able to capture the feeling of live keynotes through allowing some of the live streaming. And additionally, we also had some of our larger sessions that tend to be some of our most attended were live with live Q&A supplements as well too. So it was really important and ended up being very beneficial to have a mixture of the two available for us.
So with the number of sessions that we had with over 160, Manor Hill was definitely a partner with us. They reached out to all of our speakers, helped them to pre-record their sessions, helped them to make sure they were comfortable with the platform. Even the live speakers, they met with them to walk them through the platform and how it works and what needs to be done day of.
If it weren't for Manor Hill, we wouldn't have got the 160 pre-recording sessions completed for our annual meeting. We are a very small staff of approximately 20 people. Over the course of a 2 to 3 week period, Manor Hill was successful in not only reaching out and working with our presenters, but also in getting those formatted, completed, and put into our platform so that they were ready to roll. So by the time the annual meeting rolled around, the last thing we had to do was simply just press the play button.
The last day of the show, as we ended it, we definitely walked away feeling that we had accomplished something. We knew that our staff, our members, our attendees, our executive leadership were very, very pleased with what we had put on.
If I could summarize our experience with Manor Hill, I would say that from start to finish, it was one that truly embodies what a partnership should be. Our experience showed that from pre-planning all the way into implementation and then in post-production, they truly acted as partners to make sure that we were receiving what we needed to on our end and that every deliverable was met to the utmost of satisfaction. And the highest compliment I can pay to Manor Hill at this point is to say we look forward to and are excited to work with you on our next few upcoming meetings as well.
All right, and we're back. So we have a few more questions that have come in from Chaz Papa. How long was the planning process for RLTV? So with RLTV, our first meeting with a customer was in mid-October, and the broadcast date was the middle of February. It was February 17th, I believe. That was the main time window. The majority of the production took place in January. So pretty much most of December, November, December was spent on scripting, consulting, storyboarding, and that type of pre-production. And then in January, we drilled down more into the topics and formatting and so forth, and planning the logistics, and recorded over the course of 3 days in their headquarters, where you saw the studio that we put up in their building. So really 90 days was about it.
Yeah, we did as much pre-production as we could, coming up with the concepts of the different shows, creating their packages, so the opening videos, the lower thirds, all the roll-in content, just built up as much of that as we possibly could before we went on site and did the shoot. And then after the shoot, we were feverishly editing, afterwards, so that we could really add as much, zizz to it as we possibly could to really get it to be a real broadcast show.
Right, and feverishly editing happens all the time. We're accustomed to that, whether we're planning 6 months out, a year out. We know that it's going to come down to that final few weeks,
Absolutely.
If not hours. All right, so here's a great question from Kelsey, having to do with client involvement. If this concept is like producing a TV show, then how much do I, as a meeting planner, need to know about producing a TV show?
Well, that's a valid question. Let's pitch to our director, Hollis Johnson, because she's the one who will bring a lot of that production sensibility to your project. Hollis?
Thank you, Sid, and hello, everyone. The short answer to that question is that your responsibility as a meeting planner remains the same in this situation as it would for any virtual conference. If you're someone within your organization who's part of the decision-making process, you may help decide which format works best for the segments of your program. Game show, talk show, sportscast, news desk. And additionally, you would provide whatever content you would normally provide in that situation. So scripting or speeches, PowerPoint presentations, any video support content that an individual presenter wants to include, any sponsor videos that may come in. Just as you've always done, you'd provide that to us. On our part, when it comes to videotaping the individual presenters, we provide a broadcast quality setup with special lighting, green screen, high-end graphics, teleprompter. We bring in a makeup person, and we work with your presenters to make them feel as comfortable as possible in that situation to bring out their best performance. Then, once all of that is done, we combine what you've given us with what we've done, and we wrap that all in the TV network concept. So, we do the TV network part of it, and you do what you've always done best, and together we'll make a great program. Thanks very much. Back to you, Sid.
Thanks, Hollis. I want to get back to the flexibility of the concept and how it can be adapted to include every aspect of the conference. After the general session, there's usually a 15-minute break, and then the attendees separate into breakout sessions. This gives us a chance to be creative and use a session's topic to create a follow-up TV show or even a sister network for that session.
Right. For example, if it's an educational session, we could theme it as a learning channel and call it Sunrise Semester. Or if it's a session introducing some new industry-related software, maybe we call it the Computer Club, brought to you by X. And hopefully you could attach one of your sponsors to it.
Yeah. And that's another thing to remember. MHTV creates a lot of opportunities for sponsorship with commercial breaks and branding and attaching supporting sponsors to every breakout session, topic, guest speaker, general session, or special event. And it's TV. People expect to see commercials. So it really takes advantage of that familiar TV announcement. And now a word from our sponsor.
Exactly. And Sid, you just mentioned commercial breaks. In a virtual conference, there are just as many, if not more, breaks between sessions. So those are perfect opportunities for a sponsor to provide a 30-second commercial, for us to build a sponsor loop made of logos with reminders for attendees to visit the sponsor's virtual booth at the trade show.
Yep, and those spots are making your organization money every time they play.
And there's another concept that we could layer across MHTV. There was a time when we used to produce a style of daily conference programming that we called Convention Today, or something similar to that.
Yeah, it consisted of a daily show that would be broadcast or would be produced at the end of each conference day. And then the following morning, it was sent to the televisions in the hotel rooms for each attendee.
Just the word television tells you how dated that is. But people would get up in the morning and watch basically a news style program addressing their conference and covering the day's schedule or covering some of the highlights of the previous day.
Yeah, with the appearance of convention apps, people started using their phones to check the conference schedule and keep up to date with the conference activities.
Right, but now we're liking the idea of marrying that concept, the old Convention Today concept, with MHTV and pushing that same kind of daily programming to attendees' phones through the Smart app. It's just another way to reach attendees with content and sponsor impressions. This kind of featured program could cover interviews, highlights from the previous day, teasers for things that are happening later that same day or the next, sponsor spots, field reports, product showcases, and previews of keynote speakers.
Yeah, this is something that can be used for a virtual, live, or hybrid event. So it's something to think about and definitely something that we'd like to explore with you for your next conference.
Sid, you mentioned live events, and trust me, we are as excited as everyone else is that those are starting to come back. And when they do, it's going to be a completely different industry. We've all figured out that as much as we prefer live events, virtual events do have their place. So we're expecting the event industry to become a permanent hybrid of both live and virtual.
Yeah, Manor Hill Productions will continue to offer the same flexibility we've always had as an agency shop. You know, again, we're a solutions company. So whether we produce your live event or virtual event or a hybrid mixture of both, we'll customize an event solution that responds to your needs as an organization and makes the best recommendation possible.
And it is all about our full service agency approach. So before we wrap up, here's a preview of something that we're really excited about as Manor Hill's resources continue to evolve and expand. Have a look. So do stay tuned. We'll be making more announcements about that in the weeks ahead. Okay, so here's a question. All right, regarding those expo services, are you offering this strictly with MHTV or as a standalone service? It's a good question. All right, so the short answer is either or. Our expo services offering provides the full suite of trade show and exposition solutions that you've come to expect from a general services contractor. In terms of MHTV, as we've discussed before, there are multiple ways that we can integrate a trade show or an expo into the MHTV concept, whether it's through virtual exhibits, field reports from the expo floor, and many more. Okay, so right now, we're excited about Manor Hill TV. It's a great way to breathe some new life into a virtual conference.
Yeah. And it will work really well for live shows when we start doing them again. You know, honestly, a live ballroom, you know, the IMAG screens are really giant TVs, you know, so let's produce a TV show and let audiences sit back and enjoy an all-day binge of your conference.
And there are lots of ways to get creative about it. For example, in a live meeting, we can use a turntable set to present one TV show while another one is set and ready to go on the other side of the turntable wall. When one segment is over, we take a quick commercial break, spin the turntable, and then lights up on the new set, and the session is ready to continue.
Yeah, and in case you can't tell, we really love the MHTV concept. We have a lot of fun finding ways to replicate these concepts. You know, clients seem to enjoy it too, and all the enthusiasm that everyone brings to the project is contagious. And really, it's just a lot of fun all around.
So we have two more questions that have come in. How does the pricing compare to using a traditional virtual conference platform? Sid?
It's not so. It's an add-on. It's an upgrade. This is an upgrade to your virtual conference. So it's not its own platform. It's it's an add-on to your show to take it to the next level. So as far as pricing goes, he's the money guy, but it's an add-on.
So that was a cheap shot for me to pass it off to her. I'll take that. So, video production in itself, can be costly, but you get what you pay for, right? So when we do these, the video production is so key, and we talked about being in a studio. We prefer to be in a studio as opposed to Zoom recording or remote recording. That way we can control the quality. The video quality, the audio quality, the lighting, all of that is critical. But in terms of overall cost, quite honestly, it really depends on the scale and the scope that we're doing. It's a little bit like, without being flippant, it's a little bit like asking what does a house cost? So the best way for us to answer that is to consult with you, learn about the event, what your objectives are, and then craft a version of MHTV that fits your budget and your event. Next question. Is it necessary to pre-record everything, and is pre-recording done remote? Similar question.
Yeah. It is preferable to pre-record, and it is preferable to pre-record in a studio. Again, it's so we have that, you know, the ability to control things and, you know, be quality control. But again, we're super flexible, and if you need to do it another way, we can do it another way. We'll figure out a way that it's comfortable for your people, efficient for your people. You know, if they're not techies, you know, we work with this a lot, so we can figure it out. But yeah, as far as, you know, quality goes, it is certainly, you know, preferable to do a studio and to pre-record as much as possible. The pre-recording is, you know, honestly, so that we can edit and, you know, make your speakers have a flawless presentation. And also then we can cut in graphics that work, you know, to further the message. So there's a lot of reasons to pre-record. And it also, you know, means fewer possibilities of stumbling, like I just did, on your live show.
Right. So, you know what? I mean, the best way for us to approach it, quite honestly, is to talk about it with you, talk about your conference, and answer any questions that you might have, and explore the different ways that we can make MHTV work for your organization. That's it for us. Sid, thanks for joining me today.
Well, absolutely. And thank you for tuning in. And for Manor Hill Productions, this has been Sid Curtis.
And David Hubbard. We'll see you on the set.